If someone you know can say most of the sounds in the alphabet, but they can't write the letters, this may be why reading still feels hard. Hello, I'm Rebecca the Reading Hacker, and I'm a neurodivergent former struggling reader, helping others to crack the reading code and find confidence in reading. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the OG visual drill that anyone can do at home or in the classroom that can help to build letter and sound connections and help improve reading and spelling. This can be used for people with dyslexia, ADHD, struggling readers, basically anybody who struggles with reading and spelling. Orton-Gillingham, or OG, has 3 drills: the sound drill, the visual drill, and the blending drill. In a past video, we talked about the sound drill, but today we're going to go over the visual drill, which is sound to letter connections. And the visual drill is the missing piece for a lot of older kids. So here's the truth. If they can't spell it, they're not going to store it well. And if they don't store it well, then fluency is impacted. You're not just practicing spelling, you're improving the brain's filing system for reading. By locking that sound to letter connection in the brain, what we're doing is we're helping out the working memory, or the cognitive mental load. Reading takes a lot of steps to be able to do in the brain, but it becomes a lot more complicated when you have to add extra weight onto the working memory. Locking that sound to letter connection actually puts sounds and letters in the long-term memory, so we don't have to use the working memory. Overloading the working memory is usually the cause of shutdown, defiance, and just outright refusal to do anything that has to do with reading or writing. And this especially matters that we at least get our kids to get close to the spelling. Remember, progress, not perfection. Think of it like this. We have 2 sounds that we teach younger grades that make the k sound, K and C. If a student spells the word cat with a K, at least we know that the sound the symbol idea is there. But if they spell cat with a D, then we know there's a whole nother issue going on. I personally have struggled with spelling my entire life. You can ask my co-teachers. I've gotten better. But as I told a lot of my struggling readers, especially my struggling older readers, if we can get as close as possible, then spell check can help us along the way. And the closer we get, the stronger that letter sound connection is in the brain, and the more it will help to increase our fluency, which takes out that weight on the working memory and makes reading a lot easier. Okay, so let's walk through this visual drill, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna start off with the student's deck. I previously said in another video that you'll have a deck of cards for the student, all right? Or your child at home. So your deck. This is where we have with the sound drill. These are all letters that you have directly taught to the student. Nothing is in here that they haven't learned. It's all cumulative, all right? Because what you're doing with these drills is you're doing practice. That's the important part. We have to get that repetition, that over and over and over again, so we can connect the synapses in the brain and make those connections, those letter sound connections, as strong as humanly possible, okay? So you're going to take, you can use a dry erase board, you can use paper, whatever you have. Again, these you can get at any Dollar General, dollar store, what have you, and a dry erase marker, okay? And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take from their deck, all right? And I would actually really utilize ones that they have struggled with. And you're always going to be going over and over again. And let me explain that. So if you taught something a month ago, you're going to continue to do this with them, because remember, you have to do it over and over again. All right? So take the board and you're going to say just the sound, ah. And what they do, take their marker and they're going to write the letter. And it's just like that. Now, you're not going to do it just for one letter. You're going to do it for a few. A lot of people who go through with this, they'll actually plan out which ones they're going to do to continue the repetition so they make sure they're hitting all of them. You can write it out, or you can take your deck and go, oh, I did these ones today, and we're going to do these the next night. This drill should not be longer than 5 minutes. All the drills should take no longer than about 10, 15 minutes at most, which is why you should be practicing them at least 3 times a week, but I suggest for parents be doing it every single night if you have time. Now let's talk about something called clipping the sound. Now, a lot of us growing up, we've actually been doing something with our sounds called schwa, which is adding an at the end. So I want you to think of like with the letter B, buh. The letter B does not say buh, it says b. And there's that little difference. And the reason we don't want to do this is that sound actually really makes kids struggle when they go to spell and also when they go to read. I want you to imagine driving down a road and all of a sudden you come across a bump in the road. Well, that bump is either going to make you slow down or it's going to make you swerve a little bit. It's going to interrupt how fast you're going and how accurate your driving is. And that's what happens when we have schwa. And schwa is that sound that and sometimes it's like in other words, that where it doesn't actually appear. I'm not talking about words that have the actual U sound, all right? I'm talking about when we add it to the end of words like m, n, b, duh, like that. We need to make sure we clip it. Another part that's very important when you're doing this and you're saying to the student, have them look at your mouth, especially because some students really struggle with hearing the differences between sounds, especially for sounds that are very close or made close in the mouth, like the sounds b and p. Because they're both made with the lips, it's sometimes hard for kids to figure out what's the difference. And let me tell you, if you've ever taught a kid the difference between that soft TH and the F sound, and it's all about the mouth. All right, so kind of look at that way. Another thing that we talked about previously is using something called voiced. Now, voiced means using your vocal cords. I know you're probably thinking, well, don't we always use our vocal cords? Actually, we don't. If you put your hand here and you say if you say b, b, you feel that vibration. But if you go p, p, B is voiced and P is not. So that's a nice big difference. And that actually helps make it more multisensory. And there's many of us out there who have dyslexic tendencies or have been diagnosed with dyslexia or just a struggling reader that really have a difference paying attention to the little things in the sound, especially if you're an English language learner and you're learning new sounds that don't exist in your language, like the short I. Short I does not exist in Spanish, which is why it's pretty difficult for those who speak Spanish. If your learner makes a mistake, I'm going to take you through how to correct. Now let's take something that gets mixed up quite frequently, short A and short E, and all right? And let's say you tell them, all right, say and they do this. They give you A because you said the short E sound, all right? So what you're going to do is you're going to repeat it, and then you're going to have them write the letter, and you're going to have them write the letter, and you're going to have them do it 3 times going And I would also bring out your key word, your picture as well, because we like to give that extra boost, the visual, them saying it, them writing it, all of that, okay? Now, you can make this multisensory by having them draw in sand or draw in shaving cream, or I've seen people take Play-Doh and have them make it up with Play-Doh and so forth. A lot of older kids I've worked with, they don't particularly like that. They just want to use their pencil or their marker. Some kids, if you're a teacher and you have a big Promethean board or a smart board or even a dry erase board, have them go up. You can have them draw on the board, standing, so forth. A lot of times we think about having these like drills and like sort of thing and like we're all sitting, but sometimes our kids, especially with ADHD, need a little bit more movement, okay? Now you can do this drill with all kinds of letters. You can do it with vowel teams, and vowel teams are where we have 2 vowels that make a different sound. So I'll give you an example. We have AI, which makes A, okay? We also have AY that makes A as well. So you can do it with these. You can do it with prefixes and suffixes. That's actually pretty cool as well, especially for older readers. I like to lean into that because it helps them breaking down those longer words. So another way that we can have you do this is with tech. Now, I know I said about this app previously, and again, it's not sponsored here on this channel. The All About Reading app right here. All right, so here's how you would do this, okay? Let's say you have your kid or your learner, and they're sitting on the couch, the table, and you give them the board, and you're having to work with them, and you just want to hit the sound, okay? So you hit it. Let's say you hit A, and it says and then they write the letter. This can be great for kids who get trained into a routine where they randomly just hit the button, and they write the letter. Or if you want to have a sibling help out your younger child, or a para in your classroom, or anybody who is there, they can just hit the sound and go for it. And if you want practical strategies like this every week, subscribe below. I help people out there who are just trying to get out and help others learn to read. Just pull up our sleeves and let's just do it. Also down below, I have a free checklist for parents and for homeschoolers on how to have a conversation with your education provider on how your child's doing with reading and what's being done in the classroom. Feel free to click the link below. When we give clear routines and strengthen those letter-sound connections, anything can happen. So go ahead, crack the code, and unlock the reader.